Patreon exclusive.
Hi, this is Cynthia Kranz. I am best known for voicing Chi-Chi in Dragon Ball Z, Botan in Yu Yu Hakusho, and Mitzi in Crayon Shinshan. Be sure to check out Chronicles of the Lost Realm.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Chronicles by the Campfire. In this exciting little bonus episode, you get to hear the behind-the-scenes talk about everything from the beginnings to the ends and everything in between, what we like and what we don't like, and just discuss the characters as they happen. Today, I am joined by Keith and Chris, as you well know. Chris plays Pharun Takthanlus, one of the primary protagonists, and his personal antagonist is played by Keith, who is Billy Gnoll.
I was Billy an antagonist now.
Only to Pharun.
Okay. Yeah, he antagonizes me.
That'd make a great plot twist, actually.
Yeah, Dice Camera Action already did it. I was actually listening to that episode where they had their resident bard become corrupted by an ice ring.
Billy Gnoll was the villain. Billy Gnoll was the villain the whole time.
Oh, so you're Jar Jar Binks. You're the hidden Sith.
Oh.
Everybody's heard that theory.
Plot twist: right. Big Bad was in your party this whole time. What, didn't you think it was weird that I was able to make all of those bad guys go to sleep? Just like that?
Go night-night.
Yeah, all the time when I'm about to fight them too, you bastard.
I have a vested interest in making sure that you don't gain so much experience.
Yeah, apparently. So, oh god. That's a great question with the things that happened in the last episode, which I'm sure we're going to talk about here. Spoilers for anybody who has not yet heard the episode, but I'm sure you have.
Including me.
By the time this releases. Poor Billy's going to be behind on experience.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Even
more behind on experience, because he was already behind before.
Well, we jumped like, what, 2-3 levels?
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I think it was 2. You all were at 6, and I think Billy was at 5.
And it jumped to level 8.
And when we finished, you guys got to 8. That's right. Yeah, it was.
Hey,
You missed.
Trust me,
they
Billy,
earned
it.
They definitely earned it.
You have no idea who we face, but as of recording, he has no idea. Like I said, this will probably be released right after the episode, so spoilers will, for those that haven't heard the episode yet, but it should be. The episode is released. You guys will have known what happened, so we're good to go.
Yep.
Billy, we faced Loth.
Should we go all the way back? Should we start with your guys' overall thoughts of, the story thus far, and then kind of start back with the beginning, or should we work our way backwards?
We could do
Definitely
both.
Start from the beginning, because we haven't done. I don't think we've done a campfire episode yet. So
no, every time we talked about doing it, we always had something come up and we couldn't do it. So
right. Yeah.
I say we start at the beginning. Yeah, we'll work our way to the spoiler talk.
Okay, that works.
Which again, I'll throw it out there for everybody who has maybe you're catching this and you just found out we do a Dungeons and Dragons show. Spoilers on the whole entire series thus far, which if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to the actual show, I don't know. I can't speak for you, son. But spoilers, just in case.
Who knows? Who knows?
That's
So, throwing all the way back to the very beginning, when we first got this whole thing rolling and started, that I did not, honestly, as the Chronicler, see it going quite this direction. I had some ideas, but I'm pleasantly surprised at how everything unfolded. So, we got to really delve into this whole finding Nim and getting that whole part of it taken care of, at least for the most part.
Yeah, we can go there. But yeah, I never thought we would be taking this direction either, or at least not anytime soon. Hell, I wasn't even sure if Chronicles of the Lost Realm would still be running on Realm of the Mist Entertainment by the time we got to Nim. To be honest with you, because originally Pharun was not even supposed to remember his father or anything else in the original design that we were talking about.
Yep, but like all good shows, it went through quite a few changes.
Well, that's it, like I wound up, we did the prequel shows, the episodes 1 and 2.
You gotta roll with the tide, so to speak.
Yeah, but we did the prequel shows where Billy wasn't even involved yet, like Keith hadn't even joined the party yet. It was literally just me and AJ with you, and we were doing a busy work one-off episode, really. We didn't even start the story yet.
That actually worked out pretty well in Billy's backstory, because when he did eventually show up, nobody really realized that it was weird that he just suddenly appeared in there. So
that really did, because I didn't until episodes later. I never pieced together that Billy had just shown up there. When we showed up in that tavern, when we got transferred there by Baba Yaga, I really thought you were just there performing. Like this was just your night on stage. You know what I mean?
Which was that was intended to be the feel of that. It was supposed to be. In reality,
Billy had gotten there 40 minutes before you guys.
Right. It was kind of like a simultaneous meetup, which spiraled out of control quickly. Because that was the first, when Billy did show up, that was kind of the first moment of story direction, with the guy showing up with the stone and the guards showing up and all that.
Right, because at that point, like I said, with the 2 prequels, it was Major General Hillman and Pharun doing an errand run for a logging community. And Hillman hitting on a naked, chained-up woman who turned out to be the most powerful witch in the realms. But him thinking that he could get my future wife, And all of a sudden...
things happen.
Hillman.
All of a sudden, we get transported to the Lost Realm, and we meet Billy, and, well, things have just gone downhill from there. Now, let me let the cat out of the bag a little bit here. Pharun hates Billy, but Chris and Keith are good friends. I don't actually hate Keith.
It probably helps that I think the fans or anybody who listens to the show really has figured out that I made Billy to be as annoying as possible.
But most everybody
that was the entire point of his character. He's not supposed to be sympathetic. He's supposed to be that annoying isekai protagonist that everyone hates.
Which I think that was even brought up when we were doing character creation, and Chris made an offhanded comment about how Pharun just hated bards, and so Billy or Keith immediately, oh, well, I'm a bard then. That solves that.
Well, it wasn't even that Pharun hates bards. I decided to make Pharun hate bards. It was me. I don't like bards. I don't like bard characters. Because you are usually annoying.
The sad part really is that if we do end up losing Billy, we are going to be losing a lot of utility that bards bring to the party.
Like what? You haven't done shit yet except for die numerous times.
I have stopped entire encounters before they even got the chance to start. I have given characters the bardic inspiration die that was the difference between a miss and a hit.
I'm gonna have to
Bards
re-listen to the
have
episodes.
utility.
I'm gonna have to re-listen to the episodes because so far, only thing coming to my mind is died by a rock, died by water.
I mean, all those things happened, but like that's just like the flavor of the character. Billy actually has like a fair amount of utility as a character. Like, it's gonna be sad that like in order to further the story and like give everybody what they want of the annoying character disappearing, we may be losing a bit of utility. But I think we can probably make up for that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Who knows? Pharun may dual class as a bard.
In Billy's memory.
In Billy's memory.
I mean, we have the. I'm going to use the term cleric loosely. We have the cleric role covered now. We obviously have plenty of damage dealers, so yeah, we'll lose a little bit of utility, I believe. But I really think that the next character you come up with will probably be pretty good.
Our party really just needs that chaos aspect.
Well, you know what our party needs? Like before we used to, like when we were just the Three Stooges, which is really what the Stumble Crew was. Which, by the way, the one thing we would lose if Billy never existed was the actual team name, because that came from episode 3 where Billy talked Hillman and I into walking out of the tavern looking like we're drunk and having a stumble quest.
Right.
And it just kind of stuck. So it's really Billy's.
That honestly, that was one of my favorite lines from the series so far, because that actually comes from reality. A stumble quest is any of the fans that don't already know, because I kind of bring it up in a lot of episodes, I think, or some of the other stuff we do for Realm of the Mist. I LARP. Like, that's one of the things I do in my off time is I participate in live action role playing and all that. And at one of the big events of the year for the LARP I'm part of, called Ragnarok, when we go out and wander from camp to camp and just get shit-faced along the way, is referred to as going on a stumble quest.
And somehow, some way, that became the party's nickname or hashtag, which is the Stumble Crew, which really became synonymous with this group because, Pharun became an alcoholic, Hillman was completely insane, and Billy was just
alcoholic / recovering drug addict.
Well, at that point, he wasn't dipping into the Crow's secret stash, so drug addict wasn't there yet. But the alcoholism was from the Druid party.
Right.
Which was probably one of my favorite interactions between Billy and Pharun, because it was Pharun's chance to annoy Billy.
That was probably one of my more favorite episodes myself, because you guys
Billy
got
loves
to
being
do
annoying.
something.
He hates babysitting.
You guys got to break out of the box and do something besides, rolling some random ability checks and then some combat like we normally do. This was more role-playing and moving the story along, I felt like.
Well,
and really getting to know the characters better.
Oh.
Well, see,
I am going to be sad if Billy bites it in the near future, because we still haven't seen what the egg's going to hatch into yet.
Oh, we'll still see it, because the crew will still take it. I mean, Melwood this past episode, he made sure to commandeer, pretty much every dead body's stuff, and what was it he was safekeeping? That's what he called it, safekeeping?
Yeah, that's what he called it.
It's safekeeping.
Oh, how did he justified it at one point that he
Liz
gonna
Band's
make
body
sure that it got back to
the
its
next of kin.
families or something.
Yeah, the next to kin. Liz Band's next to kin. Jesus Christ.
Such a beautiful justification.
That was.
And then promptly was like, "Oh, Genie, here, carry this stuff."
To which his response was, that the genie's becoming the pack mule, which will make the pack mule happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you got to understand, like when we started this past episode, which you haven't heard yet, we start with Melwood at the inn. We'd had already left, but it was before the inn gets destroyed, by the dragon and shit. And he discovers all the assassins dead. And his first thought was, well, I'm going to liberate them of all their shit, but it's for safekeeping. And then he starts following our trail to figure out where we went, and he stumbles across Liz Bands and finds the Genie and Liz Band, and he's like, well, I'll make sure all his stuff gets to the next of kin. Here, hold this for me.
Are we sure he's not a Kender?
Right.
Starting to wonder. Thank you. So like
he's 3 Kenders in a trench coat pretending to be a Scotsman.
Oh my god, if that ever got revealed, that would be hilarious as hell.
That would be pretty funny.
Oh, you know what? It's got to happen. And he does appear on Four Corners of Hell, so
Yeah.
Trap Spring has to be the one that discovers it.
I mean, being that Four Corners is almost like a surrealistic, surrealistic dream world. It's very possible that somebody points it out to Melwood, and he's like, "Oh, so I am."
or should I say, so we are.
Yeah, there you go. Huh, I guess I just never noticed. I guess we never noticed.
Yeah, right.
Camera turns away, camera turns back, suddenly he's the 3 Kenders in a trench coat.
Kender's in a wizard robe.
It's extremely obvious. No. Not 3 Kenders in a wizard robe. Literally 3 Kenders in a trench coat.
Everybody just thought you were drunk.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you were moving weird, but you always drink, so. Yeah. No, I think some of my favorite things in Chronicles of the Lost Realm was our character our role plays, especially when we started getting deeper into things where there were connections between like Billy and Pharun or really starting to get to know people. I mean, one of my there is going to be a big loss if we ever lose Billy. The doctor's never gonna. The doctor is never going to know if he's got the plague.
So true.
I'm sure he'll get over it.
I mean, Billy,
I think
Billy had
if
his comedy
Billy
moments.
ever.
The only other option is that Billy survives this the whole way through.
Yeah.
I think he needs to. I think if anything,
I don't know what's funnier, him dying early or surviving the whole way through, despite getting hit by just everything.
Well, I mean, like with Billy, if he did end up perishing for real, Billy would be the cause of the plague. I feel like, just because, what a twist.
What a twist!
Oh, that would be beautiful, and that would be a great story arc for the Blighted Crow. It's like when Billy dies, they release
the plague's not a plague; it's just the common cold that he brought from his world.
No, there you go.
Billy's meta releases AIDS.
Oh, jeez.
All of a sudden, Chronicles of the Lost Realm becomes fucking Fable. We have to keep stats on STDs. But no, I mean, Billy's had his comedy moments. And one of the ones that still pops in my mind was the giant book in the Hillman stand.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Hillman was just annoying Billy a little bit that day, and just Billy saw the opportunity and took it. Just dropped the book on top of him.
And I'll be honest, I'm still kind of curious what would have happened had Billy picked up the axe guitar. I mean,
that would have been interesting.
We all officially stopped him, but if he would have just been like, fuck you, I want it, and picked it up, I'm curious what would have happened. It's never going to happen, so you might as well tell us what would have happened.
You don't know that. You might go back to Gress.
No.
Probably not.
Look, anything we left undone is undone. People just have to deal with it. Like that farm with the rock, the land shark. I don't fucking care if we left that undone.
We're not going back.
Yeah, you don't care right now, but remember last time you dodged out or something?
It's not like the Giants. We're not going back. We ain't fighting the fucking land shark.
We didn't dodge out. We got the scribble stone, and we did tell the farmer to move. We just didn't fight that fucking thing.
Exactly. Now it's just roaming the countryside, devouring crops. There's gonna be a famine, and it's directly your fault.
I still think, although that was hilarious.
No, it's the Baroth's fault, not our fault. Baroth. I feel like that's a Monster Hunter monster, not a D&D hunt monster. Whatever the hell that thing was.
But we'll blame it on Hillman, because again, we popped out of that hole. There's a farmer standing there like, "Hey, wait, what's going on? What's happening?" And Hillman just comes up, "You're gonna have to sell your farm and move."
There's definitely been some great moments. Like just the comedy level. It's been good.
Oh my god, the druid competitions where Hillman was excelling at the shit. A little halfling was getting the best rolls to throw the javelin or show agility on a log walk, and he's doing fucking cartwheels singing Major General.
Yeah, quite impressive.
Well, he got really good rolls in a couple of things, but I don't think he got the best rolls for everything.
Are you kidding me? Do you remember the fucking fireball at the Feywood? We cliffhang the episode with all the Queen's hands coming in and that giant fucking mirror helmet demon, and we come back on the next episode and the first action is Hillman throws a fireball and kills everything.
I remember that, but that wasn't part of the druid competition.
No, but I'm just saying about his rolls. He gets plenty of decent rolls.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like the whole that was my favorite combat ever. It's just like we cut it to be like, oh yeah, combat starting next episode. Lo and behold, next episode started, and just poof, combat over. Single round combat, one hit KO.
And the funny thing is even the Raven Queen wasn't all that upset that some fucking Fey soldiers got caught in that blast too.
Yup. And she was just like, oh well, it happened. Like it's cool. But the bard that was down there, he was. This whole world was a campaign that I started a long time ago in Las Vegas, and he was one of the last characters to be in this world, and it was because of him and the guy that built Gress. It was because of those two that the Queen was able to get free and summon the demons and all that. Anywho, that particular player character, when encountering a party that was in the same situation as you guys later on, they basically froze him in time in that position. As long as nobody touches him, he stays that way. So if Billy had have grabbed that axe guitar from him, it would have brought him up to normal time. He would have been able to interact, and he was a level 10 bard, level 10 warlock.
That just doesn't seem fair.
Yeah,
character.
it wouldn't have been fair at all. However, that guitar, so the bard's name was Ozfire, and he's 100% based on a great musician with the name. I'm sure everybody can piece it together.
It's Slash. You don't have to dodge.
Does anybody want a burrito?
Yeah. So the axe's name
Sharon
is named Sharon.
Yeah.
As long he can't speak at all, like in a coherent sentence at all. It was decided from level 1 that's how that was going to be, except when he called for his magical axe. That's the only word he could say with utter clarity. And no matter where he was, it's kind of like the arcane knight's bonded weapon. No matter where he is, as long as he's on the same plane of existence, he holds up his hand and he yells, "Sharon!" and it comes flying to him.
It's fucking Mjolnir.
Yeah. It destroys everything in its path. Now, that being said, it is cursed, obviously. It was a gift to him from Asmodeus, the Lord of the, Abyss and 9 levels of hell and all that.
10th now.
Right.
But we'll get into that.
So, did
you guys blow something up so bad you made a new level of hell?
We're getting there. We're getting there.
But anyway, whoever he killed with it, or he had to kill with it in order to reap their souls to repay Asmodeus, blah, blah, blah. But it was a very powerful artifact. He was able to cast all manner of crazy spells with it. So, in the hands of Billy, that would have been a very detrimental weapon. / instrument.
Now, see, you would have become an evil bard.
Indeed. Indeed.
Oh, man.
Like I said, secretly the big bad. Even he doesn't know it.
But yeah, like I said, I think some of my favorite memories aren't even so much about combat. I mean, I did enjoy some combat aspects, like for sake of argument, when Pharun stabbed Smash, and then got his ass handed to him by Ukma.
Right.
Only to find out Smash was the intelligent one and very forgiving for being stabbed in the tit with 2 long short swords. But I think,
I mean, it's a troll. It rejects. So, no harm, no foul.
And one of my all-time favorites was the introduction of Valhalla, where she just appears in the middle of what was supposed to be a bar fight, between these goblins who wanted a piece of Billy, and just out of nowhere slits the throat of the boss and disappears, and we're just sitting there like, well, shit. Okay, now we're all shitting our pants. What the hell was that? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to find more about the backstory for that, because we know Billy's backstory. We don't know the backstory of the dude he's inhabiting.
True. Very true.
Well, that brings a great question. Is Billy Knowles the character's name or your name?
Billy Gnoll is the character's name.
So that was who the bard was before you inhabited.
So,
he was still Billy Knowles.
That's actually something that hasn't come up in the series yet.
Okay.
There's a reason for the name.
Well, I know the reason for the name, because the character hates puns and his name is a pun. But which is one of the reasons why we really expected you to touch the fucking the axe guitar.
Pun.
Yeah, because it was completely a pun.
It's a punishment.
Zinger.
Well, again, talking about my favorite memories are really the character interactions and some of the just standout performances. That one was Billy's when he first saw that axe, and he's like, "Oh, I want a guitar axe. Yeah, that sounds practical." And then just a little bit later, all of a sudden it just hits him. He's like, "Oh, it's a pun." Like, you can almost envision Billy just lusting after this weapon, and all of a sudden his expression change as he realizes what it is.
I love puns. They crack me up. They're so terrible.
God.
They're funny.
No, but like, the whole thing with Billy's name. There is a character quirk to Billy that I am surprised hasn't come up yet.
Is your hatred of puns?
No. It's different than the hatred of puns. That there is a specific character quirk to Billy that has not come up yet. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't.
Well, I've been throwing some of them out. What about you guys? What are some of your favorite interactions of the characters?
Definitely dropping the book on Hellman.
What a jerk.
That was amazing comedy, and you know it.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of already touched
He
on
said
a
he
lot of
had
them
it.
that I really liked. The drop in the book was incredibly funny. Hillman trying to basically be what would be a normal, quote-unquote, normal bard, and trying to hook up with every oddball female you guys came in contact with.
That's another thing I love about Billy, is that Billy has absolutely zero time for the usual bard fare, but is absolutely 100% okay with making his presence everyone's problem.
Yeah, Hillman was a little perverted freak, wasn't he? Like, just his infatuation with Nua, the fucking Dragonborn.
Right. Pharun, he's made, in my opinion, when we started, he was kind of your standard drow, what you normally would see, the dual swords, and kind of angsty and broody almost, and with due reason. Obviously, he had that backstory, so it fit. And then it's been my opinion that as the story has progressed, and it really kind of came to a head with the Druid party, he's made leaps and bounds with character growth, and he really has a lot more depth to him than people really thought, I feel. And then you got Billy, who I'm still not sure how to even work with Billy.
That would be the entire point of the character.
Right. But I mean, his whole backstory, not Billy as himself, but Billy as the character, that has a whole separate backstory thing going on that was meant to be annoying to Billy the character. That the goblin mob was more of a nuisance than anything.
The whole backstory of I'm going to separate the two backstories, because there's the backstory for Billy's mind, and there's the backstory for Billy's body.
Right.
And the backstory for Billy's mind was entirely just this tongue-in-cheek. How do I make it so that this character can be the most annoying he can possibly be, and be able to make all these meta references? And that's what I set all onto the mind. And then the backstory for Billy's body is entirely Ray's creation. And in fact, Billy himself does not know the backstory for this body at all.
Exactly.
And so the whole Billy swearing up and down that he had no idea what the goblin mob was talking about, that's all real. Like, Billy does not have any idea what is going on, because the Chronicler pretty much dumped him in a body and said, "Have fun, do better this time."
I wonder
Have fun, bye.
I wonder if the Stumble Crew will actually ever meet the Chronicler, like have a Stan Lee cameo appearance in one of the episodes.
How do you know you haven't?
We don't know.
Exactly.
For all we know, when we were going to do the fishmonger thing, when the Queen's Hand was setting up the magical trap, it could have been for the Chronicler instead of Baba Yaga's house, which is what we initially thought.
Or a dragon.
or a dragon. It could have been just for little chronicler.
Right. Big old chain, little tiny chronicler.
Well, considering the chronicler is basically god of this world, like god of god.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it'd be interesting to see if we ever actually do interact with the chronicler, like, you know, little Yoda character.
The chronicler is even based off of Billy's backstory. The chronicler is clearly a very powerful multi-dimensional being, because he was able to pluck a soul from a plane of existence that's implied to be ours and shove him into this world.
And I'll give you that. The chronicler does, in fact, make an appearance later in this season. It is something that I had on the docket, as it were. But we just haven't gotten there yet.
Well, let me touch on this, because you were talking about the growth of Pharun. I've been looking for excuses to finally have this conversation, because I'm the guy that plays Pharun, and I know when I initially started with him, I did have him be brooding and very, very. I want to say, because Billy was the annoying character and Hillman was the comedy relief, I felt that Pharun had to be the rational thinker.
Straight man.
He had to be the straight man, or else it would just be a complete clusterfuck party. just on personality.
Happened anyway.
So that's how I originally thought Pharun should be, but then I realized I'm playing Nim all over again, just without the enjoyment of slaughter. Mm-hmm. You know, like I was reverting to 20 plus years ago. So when the opportunity came from that bad roll in the endurance test for Pharun to get drunk as shit, I was like, well, let me have fun with this and just see what happens. Let's give Pharun just this different personality when he's you know, not in control of himself. And of course that's when he's, you know, kitty, and let me pluck at the hurdy-gurdy, and what's it do if I hit this string, and you know, and it was so well received that it really changed my mind for the character. And I'm like, you know, of course he's got this serious backdrop, and after the events of this most recent episode, like, obviously he's going to have a lot of a personality change again. Mm-hmm. How could he not? I mean, we're going to be talking about it here in a minute, but I mean, I really thought it's like, this is, from that druid thing, this is an opportunity for Pharun to branch out and make himself different.
And Pharun's character growth so far has actually affected Billy's character growth as well, even if it's not readily apparent yet. The whole point of the Billy's backstory is him being dumped into this world and told to do better. And it's just this kind of nebulous concept of do better. and being around Pharun has kind of started Billy on the path of, like, actually being a better person. And he's starting to complain less and less when pulled in the direction of, we have to do this because it's our fault.
well, I have noticed that there's you know, as much as Pharun hates bards, and Billy in particular, you know, it's a surface hate, because you and I, as the characters, we've started in syncing with each other. Like, when we get put into situations, you and I are the ones coming up with the plans, and like when we're investigating, we're the ones putting the story together.
We're Tulio and Miguel from frickin' Road to El Dorado. That's exactly what's going on here.
Now, see, I was going to use Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker in fucking Rush Hour, but same thing.
That might be a better one. Tulio and Miguel, we're partners at the beginning of El Dorado. That'll be us later.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Provided Billy survives.
Provided Billy survives.
Survives.
You know, but that we've
Billy, you know that voice in your head that tells you to quit while you're ahead? You don't have one.
But we've learned to work together, and especially now that we have, like, these new characters. Like, we keep talking about Hillman, which was the original Stumble crew, but he walked off into the sunset, presumably to lay down with Nua, and there's going to be some unholy fucking children coming. But then I still
think that we should have retconned it that the book killed him.
I don't think we killed Hillman because the door is possibly open for Hillman's return. Maybe. I don't know. This is not in stone. This is not something that's going to happen. People, if you're fans of Hillman, don't take it as I'm saying he's coming back. I'm saying we left it vague enough that if he wanted to and things worked out that way, it could possibly happen. But at this particular moment, probably not. With that said, we have a whole bunch of new characters that came in and really have incorporated their way into the Stumble crew relatively quickly. And I mean, we're talking about like a brand new cast of sillies and just interesting personalities altogether. And I think we got to dissect them a little bit.
Yeah, but that might be a topic for a later campfire when we can get them all together to talk about their characters and how they interact with Pharun and Billy.
Yeah, but we definitely have a unique, just the way the dynamic works in this party. It's unique to say the least, with everybody that's together. And that kind of brings us to the quote-unquote spoiler topic of what happened last time.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Pharun's major story arc was basically completed last episode. That's the best way I can describe it. Billy, I don't know.
I really hope not, because like if your character's major story arc completed, like there needs to have been like a plot thread that was left open. Otherwise, what reason is there to keep Pharun around?
Well, there is a plot thread that's still open that we were talking about it before we started recording. You know the party transferred from Lisband's house to the Demon Web Pit, and that's where you disappeared for the last couple episodes. You weren't able to do it. That's why your character got turned into a miniature. Mm-hmm. But the last 2 episodes, we've been traveling the Demon Web Pit in the Abyss, the world of Loth, which is now controlled by, Pharun's father, Nim, from 20 years ago in 2nd edition when I played Nim and defeated Loth, and my DM got pissed off at it and made Nim become corrupted by the chaos evil of Loth and become the new king of the spiders and stuff. The whole purpose of why Pharun wanted to save his father. So Pharun, Quinthel, the Blighted Crow, and Valhalla traversed the Demon Web Pit and made it to the what would you call it? The spire, the castle, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially. I think I kept referring to it as the temple.
The temple.
But.
Yeah, the temple of Loth, which is where Nim was. And when we walked inside, there's Nim sitting on a throne of skulls. And he's interconnected with this shadow being. And then, again, major spoiler talk. If you don't want to know, stop now. Quinthel, Pharun's twin sister, jumps ship over to Nim and this shadow creature, and turns out that she was not Quinthel, but she was Loth wearing a Quinthel suit.
That's one hell of a way to put it.
Oh my gosh, does that mean Quinthel's dead?
Quinthel's dead.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, Quinthel's dead, and Loth has been pulling a string.
I am glad Billy was a statue, because that would have been traumatizing.
Oh, traumatizing for you. How do you think Pharun felt?
Dude, remember, Billy comes from what basically equates to our world. This stuff is all fantasy shit that just became very, very real, and watching that shit in reality would just be way too much.
Everybody else
like
is carrying on like normal D&D. Billy's in the background barfing in the corner.
That'd be like walking into a hill game. in reality.
Billy's hugging his knees in the corner, rocking back and forth. Can't sleep, the clouds will eat me. Can't sleep, the clouds will eat me. So, Pharun loses his shit completely, just enraged and grief and everything else, and he starts attacking Loth. And was doing some severe damage to her, too, until the rolls went to complete shit.
Yeah.
As they do.
During this time, Melwood shows up with the genie through this portal, right in the middle of the battle, and Melwood decides to throw a fireball to save Nim. Pharun took that blast and died.
Yeah, because Melwood was only able to protect a certain amount of people, and so it basically boiled down to, does Nim get hit with the fireball, or does Pharun get hit?
So Pharun's dead, or did you guys manage to revive him?
He was managed to get revived. They were placing me on an altar to sacrifice me to Loth, and I think it was the Blighted Crow who was actually able to resurrect me.
Yep.
To which I was about to backstab the shadow creature, which turns out to be what exactly was it?
So how it worked was that the shadow creature was actually Loth's power personified, and that's what was possessing Nim. And so the two of them were working together to try and defeat the party because they wanted to reunite, which, unbeknownst to Pharun, who helped my situation out immensely.
Bastard.
That was quite humorous. Everybody's, oh no, when you grab Nim. Oh man, that was funny.
Well, from a dramatic standpoint, Pharun's focus is, I just found out my sister's dead. No idea where my mother is. My whole entire focus in life was to save my father. I see an opportunity to grip him and get him the hell out of there. Of course that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I had no idea you were going to... The removal of Nim from that throne would reconnect those two and then create a whole new level of hell.
Indeed.
So that's the 10th level.
That's the 10th level, yes. So
it's just Pharun's fault.
It's Pharun's fault. He was able to save Nim. Nim is back in the prime material plane. So he fulfilled his focus in life, but now he's got to find and seek revenge on the murderer of his sister, who, as Storytime has just found out, was the evil queen. She's the one who killed Quinthel.
Right.
And Loth used it to her advantage.
Yep. Which that kind of, not that particular part, but the whole thing with going back to Melwood showing up to help you guys out, when he found the genie. So, I gotta find a way to get down there to my friend. How do we do that? And the genie's like, I don't know. I wish I had a teleport. Yeah, me too. Oh, okay. Like, that whole scenario was pretty funny to me.
Well, as I said, that whole entire interaction...
He can't actually wish for something, but he can.
Right.
Well, again, that whole entire interaction was great, but I loved when he was first like, well, how did they get there? And the genie's like, magic ring. And,
yeah.
And Melwood pulls out all the magic rings he just stole from Lisbon. And he's like, well, I got a bunch of magic rings. Which one?
Yeah, that was quite amazing.
It was almost like you guys scripted it, the way you back and forth with each other. It was beautiful.
Oh, I know, but that was complete improv. Now, talking about scripted part, there was a little bit of script going on with the power of Loth being voiced by that guest that we had on, Dave.
Yes, Dave DeSantos, the creator and DM of Shattered Realms, right? Shattered Dawn. Shattered Dawn.
But
Shattered.
Their company is Shattered Tabletop Gaming, for anybody interested.
Which is, by the way, Dave, I love you, but that's why I keep stumbling on your game's name is because you got like 3 different versions of it.
Yeah. It's got the Shattered Tabletop is the company itself. Shattered Dawn is the game itself, and then Shattered Dungeons is their podcast of us playing Shattered Dawn.
Right. So he's the DM of Shattered Dungeons. He's the creator of Shadowed Dawn, and yep. I'm assuming he's the CEO of Shattered Tabletop.
Correct.
I figured it out.
You pieced it together.
I get a cookie.
But I think he did a really, really amazing job with that voice. I was kind of worried that when he first demonstrated it to me, I was worried that it might not be sustainable, but he pulled it off, and everything. I gave him a very rough outline of how I wanted to see things play out. The rest of it was all him. All improv. He handled the rest of that for us.
Well, I remember
Nice.
I thought it was you at first doing the voice. Remember, because I turned around and I was like, out of character. I got to applaud you. That sounded like 2 voices in one.
Right. Yeah, that was beautiful. Of course, when going back to new players joining the party and stuff, when Valhana joined and Katie said her line for the first time, that caught everybody off guard too.
I thought it was your wife at first. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know we had a female person in the group at that point yet. I thought it was your wife just standing in for a minute to throw us off.
Right, and I was trying very hard to get my wife to come on and voice Quenthel for that particular episode, but she was not able to make it. So
that would have been perfect.
Time.
That would have been perfect because if you would have gotten her to be Quenthel the whole time, and then have to have the personality switch from Quenthel to Loth, that would have been interesting.
Right. That's what I wanted her to do with the voice of Quenthel as Loth, or Loth as, you know what I mean.
Right.
When Loth made herself known.
Which, by the way, I didn't see that coming. When Quenthel jumps sides, my first thought is she wants the matriarchy back. Because one of the disadvantages of Nim taking over Loth's role back when with my last group, one of the disadvantages was the Drow society was no longer matriarchal. The priestesses and shit like that lost their power, and it allowed the rise of the masculine part of the race to actually have equality, which is not in the Drow society. So when Quenthel first walked over, I'm like, she wants to be a matriarch. She wants Loth to regain power, so everything goes back the way it was in the Underdark.
Mm-hmm.
And then you red herring me. I was already pissed off. I'm like, she's betraying us because she wants power. Oh no, she's betraying us because she's not Quenthel.
Right. Which I hope that, I know that was kind of a little against what we, you wanting to use Quenthel as a backup character and things like that, but I saw it as this moment of just beautiful surprise. It's like, yes, I'm going to take this. Like, this is going to happen. It seemed like everybody really enjoyed that episode, except Billy.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I mean, it's really hard for me to enjoy it by not being there.
But you got to listen to it. But I mean, I'm not disappointed or upset because it was a great plot twist. For people that don't understand, Nim was my player character years and years and years ago. So when I decided I wanted to continue on the lineage of the character, I created children for Nim that were twins. And they were Pharun and Quenthel. And the reason of being I did that is so that way if Pharun ever died, I could play Quenthel. That was the original idea, but I told Ray about it, he'd liked the character, and the rest is now history. Yep. But when I first created the idea of Pharun having a twin sister, it was literally so that way if Pharun has a bad role and dies one day, well, I've already got a backup character. Now I don't. Well, I kind of
play as Billy.
I kind of do.
Everybody that dies gets
Well, no, I still have a backup character. I can always bring Wanderlust over from Four Corners.
Or we could play it that whenever Billy's host dies, he just gets put in a new body.
Yeah. Oh my God. Now it's Friday the 13th, episode 9. Jason goes to hell.
Man.
All right. Well, here's the big question, because I know we're reaching on the hour mark here. Here's the big question. The question that we've got to ask from this point on. Where do we get? I'm going to shoot this at the chronicler himself. Where does the show go from here? Because as you and I, as we were talking about and stated, this current episode 16, titled "Family Ties," it's not even a season ender, a season finale. You know, it's not even really a mid-season finale, and so it begs the question: what happens in Chronicles of the Lost Realm from here?
Well, since you asked. No, I'm kind of changing up the way the formatting of it is, I feel like, for lack of any other term. Instead of it having... There will be another larger arc in the future, but for right now, what I kind of want your characters to focus on, instead of trying to complete these like huge monumental tasks, is I want you guys to just be heroes. Just, hey, I want to go run in a dungeon. Yeah, let's go do that now. Let's find out where one is, and you get with Melwood, and you go to the Temple of the Mages, and you find out where a dungeon is. Or, hey, I heard of this glass sword that can, it's Vorpal, and it can cut through prismatic spheres.
God damn it, leave Nim alone.
We should figure out where that is. I was just using that as an example. Any magic. Oh, hey, we should go kill. I heard that there's this really rare monster. We should go try and kill it, or tame it, or whatever. I'm trying to get you guys to not focus so much on these huge monumental things. I want you to do some more fun things, like stuff that you guys want to do.
Well, within world, I guess you're saying is what you want is the characters to start doing some side quests and building a reputation within the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, XP is gonna slow down a little bit. Now, level 8 and coming up on level 10, so XP is gonna slow down a little bit, but you guys will still be able to go on, a bunch of quests. Just there's still plenty of combat to have, puzzles to be solved. That part of it isn't going to change. I just want you guys to be able to actually just play the game like D&D was intended. Back to like the way 2nd edition. That's what I'm going for anyway.
As long as we don't have a scenario where we go kill the big bad and then have a now what scenario.
Nope, there will always be more to do. And lots more big bad.
This had better turn into some shit of like there's always a bigger bad.
Oh, every time.
Well, I mean, we still have it because we still haven't completed the Evil Queen story arc.
Right.
As we pointed out, we haven't completed the Stone story arc in general, which I know is kind of tied in with the Evil Queen. But I mean, we haven't collected the rest of the stones like we were supposed to do. So I mean, there's still main story involved. Hell, if we want to get technical, Pharun still has to go turn in the quest for the fucking lumberjacks.
Them lumberjacks is long since dead, sir.
Well, no, we killed the troll that was infesting the village, but I mean, like, we haven't gone and reported that troll is gone. We beat the troll, but then we got kidnapped by Baba Yaga and sent to meet Billy.
Right, which, like you just had said, that's a whole nother story arc that's still available, which you guys are still running around wearing the cloaks of Baba Yaga that you have no idea how to use them. So that's definitely something that can be.
And since they were
I mean, there's only so much side questing we can do before it starts to get boring. So we're gonna have to further the main quest every once in a while.
Oh, there's. That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of putting a main quest on hold for just a little bit until you guys do some side questing, get some more levels, and then we'll get back into it with some more big bads and more main questing, and the world is in danger. But for right now, the world is it's okay.
Well, the nice
May
thing
not be great. Okay.
to my mind, the nice thing of Chronicles of the Lost Realm, I mean, it's even demonstrated in the characters itself, is not everything has to take place in the Lost Realm. We kind of in this gateway hub world where we could travel to places like Kryn or Ravenloft or Pharun or insert fantasy world here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so that opens up so many story arcs too. There could be times in Chronicles of the Lost Realm we're doing D&D modules where we're doing shit like fucking the Curse of Strahd or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Stumble Crew could have so much of a story arc for
The Stumble Crew stumbles its way right
through.
Nope. Go back.
We just drunkenly piss all over every piece of lore Dungeons and Dragons has to offer.
Right. And that was something that I had thought about with the conclusion of this Nim story arc, is that I wanted you guys to be able to do sessions more modular. Maybe this particular session you go and you fight off Strahd, like you were saying, and then you guys come back to Varesh, you're hanging out, you're doing your thing, and then, oh, hey, we gotta go over here and finish up the Dragon Wars because apparently they need help. So I want it to be more modular, where every session could be something completely different, and it's up to you guys if you want to do it or.
No,
I want to give a little bit of the creative control to you guys.
I'm absolutely down for that, where we become like, I don't know, like Pharun's chaotic good. I don't know so much about everybody else, but I could definitely see us becoming like Guns for Hire.
Billy's chaotic good.
Almost like a for
Actually,
lack of
Billy's
better
chaotic
term.
neutral.
I would almost call us like an Acquisitions Incorporated. Just we're not all about materialism, except for Melwood.
Right. Well, he's definitely about the rules of acquisition.
Yes, he is.
I have a feeling we'd be more like Mything.
I mean, as long as you guys.
I'm super glad that those got a chuckles, because I was really going out on a limb that you guys had read that book series.
A while back, I ran a module for my group in Las Vegas, which they're all military members. We're all mechanics, maintainers, and so on and so forth. So we all have a really dark and weird sense of humor. So anywho, I was running a module in which they were part of a collective guild, and it was called SMART. And it's SMART is a Syndicate of Master Adventurers for the Recovery of Treasure. And they went on a whole mess of adventures and things like that, and the headquarters got infiltrated. And this was all part of the story that I came up with and whatnot, and they took control of the headquarters, and they became the new owners of SMART. And in a moment of just complete idiocracy, I said, would you guys like to change the name of your guild? And they thought about it for all of 10 minutes. And it was suddenly changed to Shart. And all they did was change Master, Syndicate of Master to Heroes. This is all they did. And I was like, oh,
Missed it by that much.
So I left it, of course, and they went on many adventures, and eventually the guild burned. so it is what it is.
Oh my god.
The flaming taco shards.
Yep. Yep. But that's kind of the direction I'm seeing this going, because now you've got the Busty Gull, which is a perfect headquarters, which is recently become available.
Well, it needs a little rebuilding.
Just
Actually,
that was Lisbon.
Well, no, it was also, if I remember correctly, the dragon attacked the town of Varesh while we were gone, didn't it? It wasn't just Lisbans. They destroyed the city.
As far as you know, yes.
But again, that could have been a lie. We won't know until we get back there. But
Right.
In my mind, I would almost think like, Lisban's place was what we would want. We wouldn't want the bar because of the mansion spell.
Right. Well, the mansion spell, it was just simply Magnificent Mansion with a permanency cast on it. There's members of your party who are, well, they can't particularly do it themselves, but they have access to those resources. You could cast the same spell within the tavern. But of course, with the tavern comes paying rent and all that, unless you are able to roll high enough persuasion to convince the barkeeper to do otherwise.
I can do that.
Well, here's the
As
thing.
I seem to recall somebody got a 6-month extension.
Yeah, but we got to renegotiate that since that wasn't even my sister, and all the people are now dead.
Sounds pretty renegotiated to me.
Yeah.
Right? Sounds like there's an availability.
We gotta renegotiate that, but since my sister's and everybody else involved is dead, who are we supposed to renegotiate that with again?
with the bartender. We had done it to help out her and her clan, but her clan is dead and she wasn't her. Contract null and void.
Right. Well, Keith hasn't heard the episode, so he has what happened with all.
Yeah.
And Millwood being the pretty much constantly drunk Scotsman stumbling downstairs, rolling investigation check. All I could envision was like Mr. Magoo, kind of stumbling around. Because I was giving him all the hints to point towards Quenthel, and he's just like, "I'm gonna follow the footprints."
So he could have figured it out long before I had the surprise.
Exactly.
Oh, Joe, you screwed me.
If he had have made a mad dash to Lisbon, heard what the genie had to say, and got through the portal in time, he would have shown up before Quenthel had a chance to quote unquote jump ship.
Oh. Well, you know what they say, the road to hell is paved with.
Good intentions.
So true.
Jesus Christ. But I think that's pretty
Alexa, play Despacito.
good. Don't play Despacito. No. But
What a tangled web we weave.
Nobody actually has an Alexa, do they?
No. No, thank
That's
God.
gonna be funny. That's gonna be funny when this airs. Does it?
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Somebody's listening to it, and their Alexa is just like right next to the computer speaker, and all it hears is Alexa play Despacito. Oh my God, people be cursed then. Fuck the Stumble Crew. Fuck Chronicles. Torture me with
I'm
that
sorry.
shit.
That in and of itself was a reference to a YouTuber I watch of he was doing a Dark Souls run through, and his character got killed, and he threw up this sort of rest in peace infographic, and at the bottom of it, it was 2018 to 2018. Alexa, play Despacito.
Jesus Christ. But I think that'll do it for the inaugural episode of Chronicles by the Campfire. Guys, I just want to make it real quick known that this is a Patreon exclusive show that will be happening, give or take, once or twice every couple months. Just to give you kind of a rundown of the show, how the show is going thus far. I don't know if we ever actually discussed whether or not it's just going to be for Chronicles or if it'll be for all tabletop gaming under Sounds Dicey.
Once we start playing some more games, I mean, it'd be great to do it for multiple games.
I don't see a reason to not branch out.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, I mean, Chronicles by the Campfire will just be conversations about our tabletop progresses in games thus far. I'm sure in future episodes we'll delve into more of the psychology of each individual character, whether it be like Pharun and Billy in Chronicles, or if it's insert name A and insert name B of Shattered Dungeons, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
You know, and really start having fun and putting more insight into the world of tabletop gaming, particularly from our standpoint. But I want to let everybody know this one is going to be free for everybody on Patreon, but for the future content, you got to pay that $1. We'll open up the world of not only this, but After Hours and you know, other shows that we are putting together for Patreon. It's Patreon exclusive. It's only $1 a month. You help us be able to put out better content for you guys, and you get all this exclusive content that YouTubers and anchorers and stuff like that will not get. So help us out.
Heck yeah.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes. Don't forget to like and
Absolutely.
subscribe.
Yeah.
So
I
just wanted to put that out there before we give our final goodbyes here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's perfect. So, Chris, you want to start with your final goodbye, where they can check you out?
Well, of course, you can find me playing Pharun Takthanlus, the extremely damaged, probably suffering PTSD, along with his drinking and alcohol addiction now, on Chronicles of the Lost Realm on Sounds Dicey, as well as playing the storyteller in Four Corners of Hell, the spin-off show to Chronicles of the Lost Realm. Or you can go over to the YouTube channel, Realm of the Mist Entertainment, and check out me on a lot of mostly all the podcasts there. Of course, Anchor, iTunes, or wherever quality podcasts can be heard, you can find us there as well.
Nice. Billy? Or
you can find,
rather?
You can find me on Sounds Dicey. I'm playing Billy Gnoll, although possibly another character in the future.
Big plan.
You can also, yeah, possibly. We don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. You can also find me over on Press A Gaming Podcast as the host every other Friday on Realm of the Mist, and any show they wrote me into at the time. I get around here.
Rush.
Like my ex-wife.
Oh, and of course, I'm Ray. I'm the Chronicler for Chronicles of the Lost Realm. I'm also Lemmy Stormkiller in Four Corners of Hell. I play some Shattered Dawn over at Shattered Tabletop Gaming, so make sure to check that out every now and again. Props to you, Dave. I'm a co-host on War of the Stars, a Star Wars podcast, and we do some interviews, co-hosting back and forth between myself and Chris on Breaking the Fourth Wall, so check those out. They're pretty good. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been great talking with you guys, having some behind-the-scenes banter.
I mean, we sit down and we talk about this shit all the time. It only makes sense for us to actually do a podcast of us talking about what we normally do anyway, so other people are going to enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I had a blast.
That's it for me, and we'll see you all later.
This is the behind the scenes feature.
That's exactly. You know what? The original, before I even stopped recording, the original idea for this was the fact of like things like the shows like Sons of Anarchy or Walking Dead. They have the after show. You know, called like what was it? Talking Dead or The Last Ride or whatever it was for Sons of Anarchy. That was kind of the idea for Chronicles by the Campfire. Is, you know, you got your tabletop show that we're playing the characters, and then we have the after show, which is just us talking about what has transpired in our stories thus far. That's really where it came from. So that's a perfect analogy for it.
Right.
So, all right, guys, have a good night. We will catch you on the next campfire.
Bye.
Later.